coming up on the Crazy Jamaican Bwoy Podcast.
A lot of them were very forward, to pull it mildly. Like, they'd be like, oh, Anthony Sensei, big dick, big penis. I might get cancelled for this, but I'ma just say it. Let me take a drink. Hey, mic check. You don't know, it's your boy Anthony Tracy. Back again with another episode of the Crazy Jamaican Bwoy Podcast, episode 5. I can't believe I really reached episode 5. I feel good. Yeah. I feel so good, guys. Thank you again for the support. If you've been enjoying the series, the podcast, if you've been enjoying the podcast, please like this video. Like it. I'll need you to share it. And if you have not yet subscribed, please do so. All right. So if you're watching this on YouTube, like the video, share it, and please leave a comment. It is greatly appreciated. If you are watching on Spotify, please leave a review and please rate it. And also, please follow me. So the next time when I drop an episode, you will be notified immediately. And the same thing goes for Apple. My beautiful, lovely Apple listeners. Yes, I have to big up my Apple people, and I have to big on it up because I got a notification recently from this podcast company. They said that I was ranked number 9, yeah, for comedy podcasts. So I was the most downloaded comedy podcast in Jamaica for the month of December. So, big up on yourself, guys. I really appreciate it over all my listeners on Apple Podcasts. Thank you guys so much. So thank you. I'm so overwhelmed. Thank you guys. I just started this podcast. I did not know what I was getting myself into. I didn't know what to really expect. I kind of just went into it with the mindset that, okay, don't expect to blow up. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a bit slow. The listeners are not just gonna just come jump at you like that. You have to be consistent. And then, slowly but surely grow an audience. And thus far, the feedback has been really great. You guys been really, you guys have been super positive. You guys have been super supportive. And I truly appreciate that, guys. So before I say anything, guys, please have a happy new year. My hope for you that this new year is going to be fucking amazing. I wish you nothing but the best, health, strength, wealth, you name it, guys. So, we're definitely going to go hard for 2026. And I hope that a lot of the New Year's resolutions you guys have, I hope you guys nail all of them. All right. Okay. So on that note, I want to get into what I want to discuss this week. All right. Initially, I had a topic in mind that I wanted to talk about today. But then I woke up this morning and I was like, you know what? I think I need to talk about another topic instead. I think this topic would be, I just want to talk about this topic. All right. So I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but I used to live in Japan for like 2 years. It was a good experience, I will say. A lot of people reach out to me a lot about it because them want kind of, know what to expect, right? So I think this is what this episode is going to be about. It's going to be about my experience living in Japan, all right? Me not live there no more. So I'm going to give you my raw and unfiltered take on living in Japan as a Jamaican. So I'm going to give you the full 100. All right. But I'm going to one on it still. So you said my experience is not a one size fits all experience. This is uniquely mine. All right. So if you go there and then you experience something completely different than what me experience, only about that beat me. All right? Nobody beat me. This is just simply my experience. All right, so let's get into it. Japan. Why did I want to go to Japan? I'm going to be honest with you. So I had just graduated from university, right? And honestly, I didn't really know what I wanted to do per se, right? I didn't know if I was supposed to go back and get my master's. And then I was just like, okay, naturally I need to get a job, right? But then, the opportunity came in my lap. Like somebody was telling me about this opportunity to live in Japan. The money was decent, and you could get to travel, right? Which is something I love. I like to travel. I like to, immerse myself in different cultures, and plus earning money while doing that. So, it sounded like a really good idea at the time. So I just jumped on it. So the process to get into it wasn't that difficult. I think the company that I applied for, I think it was fairly easy to get through. I'm not going to mention their name because I don't want to get sued. So September, I started the application. September 2017, I started the application. Then I got the interview October 2017, next month. And then, I think November, I found out that I was placed. Yes, it was November. November, I found out I was selected and I was placed in an area, right? So I was so excited, guys. I did the necessary research, of course, because, you're going into a foreign country. You want to, especially for Black people, you know what I mean? I feel like the first thing when you're going into a country you're not necessarily familiar with, the first thing you do is, does this country like Black people? I kid you not. I watched so many videos. I read so many blogs. I read so many things, guys, pertaining to living in Japan, because me did want to know where me did I get myself in. I think for some of you guys are probably think, what the fuck? Why would you apply to go to a country and you're not familiar with the living and all of that stuff? Well, guys, honestly, I just jumped at the opportunity when it was presented to me. So I got the email. It says that, okay, I've been successful in my placement, and so Japan, here I come. So I was, I'm going to be honest with you. I was very excited. Like the day off, like to board the flight, I was so excited, but a bit nervous because, it was like, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into, like I watched a lot of videos and, I read a lot of blogs, articles and whatnot, but you never really know until you're actually in the environment. You know what I mean? And it was a lot. I would say the first couple of weeks, the first couple of weeks, it was very, I'm not going to say it was hard, but it was very different. All right. So in the area that I lived, so I lived in a bit of it was kind of a rural. It was like, maybe, I wouldn't really say rural, but maybe like a suburb. It's like a suburban area. And remember me tell you, I remember when I was just walking, come, I did want to buy one iron at one of the stores them, right? So I was walking and I remember there was this line of traffic there, and the people, them just a stare upon me, like, them just a stare upon me, And then you see, like, if you forgot look, for make eye contact with them, they just be like, as if they weren't staring at you before. It was very, very creepy at first. I was just like, wow, are these people racist or something like that? Do they look at me as a criminal? Now, I'm not gonna say that it was necessarily an act of racism. Maybe for some of them it was, but you have to remember, like, this town I was living in, I think I was probably one of two Black, guys, that was living in that city. And then eventually the other guy, he left. So then I became the only Black guy living in that city. Can you imagine that, guys? That in itself was a culture shock. I'm not gonna lie. it was just like, damn, what really are going on here, so, you know? But I will say overall, especially in my area, I can say, like, the people living there, they were very receptive towards me. They were very nice. They were very friendly. Some of them would take me out to dinner. Some of them would invite me to their homes, and then we'd prepare dinner with their family. And it was just really nice and sweet how they were very, welcoming. They were super, super welcoming. I'm not going to lie. Like when they would have the street festivals. All right. So that's the thing too. The people that used to make me feel like me I want a celebrity. I'm not gonna lie. They made me feel like I was a fucking celebrity, guys. Because you see, when time I step in, like if there was like a big festival, like a street festival somewhere, and I step in, people would literally ask for pictures. I kid you not. They'd be like, "Can we take a picture?" Da 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 da. Now, some might say that in itself is a type of racism, but you know what? Me never mind it. Me never mind it. Me never mind to take a picture with him. Like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. And you know what? I'm gonna take that back. Because I'm not gonna say it was necessarily them being racist, right? I think they legitimately thought I was a basketball player. Alright, so that's a funny thing with Japan. So I feel like they think all black people look alike. I'm not quite sure. People some look like Will Smith. People some look like Eddie Murphy. Them some look like Stephen Curry. The amount of black men the people them some look like. And obviously I don't look like any of these celebrities, right? Any of them. But I feel like it can be reversed some ways too, right? Because you have some Jamaicans that can't really tell the difference between a lot of the Asian women and the Asian men. Like to them, they think they look the same. Some people can't tell the difference between Jet Li and a Jackie Chan. You know what I mean? So I was kind of looking at it from that angle, but I still find it kind of weird though. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But yeah, moving on from that. So overall, like my experience with like the people living in the town, the areas, it was good. It was great. I personally enjoyed it. All right, so let's talk about the work. Now the work. So I was working in a middle school, so most of the kids I was dealing with were like teenagers, right? So you can imagine. Now, I might get canceled for this, but I'ma just say it. I'm gonna take a drink first. Mm. Yeah, so I'm gonna just say it. I really had high expectations for some of these Japanese students, right? And I think that might be my own racial bias. But because I think growing up, especially as a Jamaican, when I would watch these TV shows, the Asians were always the smart ones. Like they were super smart, super brilliant. They were on point with everything. Education wise, you know what I mean? Like they were super on top. So when I went into this classroom, a lot of these students were not so smart. A lot of them were not so smart like that. Like obviously you had a few brilliant ones, right? But my expectations, I thought that they would be like top tier. And I don't know if I should say this, but a lot of them were very forward, to pull it mildly. Like they'd be like, "Oh, Anthony Sensei, big dick, big penis, big penis." I remember when somebody said it to me. It was this little boy. Like I was kind of shook. I'm not gonna. I was just like, "What the fuck?" Like, really? You're gonna ask me like I am supposed to be a teacher, and you're gonna ask me if I have a big dick. And you know what's so crazy? They were not good in English. A lot of them were not good with grammar and how to express themselves in English. But they knew how to express themselves saying this shit, right? They could ask, be like, "Oh, do you have sex? Or do you have big penis?" It's like, where, where the fuck gonna learn this shit? You know what I mean? And then a lot of times, like they'll try to touch. Yeah, they would try to touch. At first, I thought that this was very unique to me, but then I remember when I was speaking to other foreign teachers, and they had similar experiences too, right? And it's kind of weird. It's very, very weird, but yeah, the kids are very perverted. I have to say they're very, very perverted. So if you are interested in teaching in Japan, I feel like that's something you are going to have to deal with. You know what I mean? But I feel like, but outside of the perversion, and I will say, not all the students are like this. Not all of them are like that. But you do have quite a bit that were very forward like that. But I will say, outside of that, they were very sweet to me. I will say, sexual harassment aside, they were very, very sweet. They gave me, I remember when it was my birthday, all of them, they gave me some sweets. Each of them, they gave me cards, and they wished me happy birthday, sang. It was very nice. It was very nice. So like I said, sexual harassment aside, these kids they're not bad. They're not bad, but I definitely feel like that is definitely something that I think should be addressed more in schools with the students. My teachers. Shout out to some of the teachers. I don't really want to call their names, but they know themselves. A lot of them were very supportive, I will say. Some of them not so much, but a lot of them were very supportive. I'm just gonna call some names. Sato Sensei, I really enjoyed my time with Sato Sensei. He was so cool. He was very older, but he was very nice. I remember once time I told him that I wanted like to try on suits. I get new suits, and he actually took time out of his Saturday, picked me up at my apartment, and then we went to a place to get try on suits. And he was really good. He was one of the older teachers there. And then Nosaka Sensei was so dope. He was really, really nice. We used to talk about like music, movies, TV shows, and just Japanese culture. Yeah, for sure. And then, obviously, Kanaima Sensei, I loved her. She was really nice. Okubo Sensei was really nice too. She was great. I think she was the first teacher I met. And last but definitely not least, Tanaka Sensei, that was my brother. Yeah, they always, so going into Japan, a lot of times, these instructors or, people who have lived there the longest, they'll say stuff like, oh, try not to get too close to these teachers. A lot of them are, fake. And I understand where that comes from. Trust me, I do, because I'm not trying to bash the Japanese people, but you see, Japanese people, they have a culture of keeping the peace, right? At all costs. So it can come across a bit fake to other cultures. And that was that was kind of difficult for me to kind of navigate, because as some are raw, direct, but very confrontational. Japanese people are not like that. So, for example, if I was supposed to curse a bad word, right? Instead of talking to me directly, they would probably talk amongst themselves, and then somebody else would probably approach me and tell me about something I did, even though they weren't there. But you understand what I'm saying? So they're all about maintaining a kind of peace, which which is kind of which in some cultures would be like, okay, you're fake. You're fake as fuck. But that's just their culture. It works for them. I'm not going to criticize or try to scrutinize a culture. It is what it is, but that's just their culture. But I will say a lot of those teachers, they were very nice to me. They were very supportive. And yeah, big up on yourself. I love on them. And if I was supposed to, go back to Japan, I would definitely want to, hang out with these guys again, because they were a part of what made my time in Japan very special. Yeah. So yeah, especially Tanaka Sensei. I love that guy, man. He was really, really just one of the best for sure. All right. Okay, so I talked about the school life already. All right, let's talk about like, regular life. So my regular life in Japan. Let me just take 2 sips for this. Oh. All right. So one thing I should say, if you're moving to Japan, you have to get used to the fact of being by yourself. You have to get used to that. You see, for me, that wasn't really an issue because, I'm a loner. I'm a loner by heart. So it didn't really bother me that I'd be by myself most of the times. It does get lonely at times. I'm not going to lie, it does get lonely. And um I think while I was living there, I think that made me do things that I probably would not have done in Jamaica. Like, for example, I think I was very promiscuous in Japan. I think I really had a lot of sex. And I think I did a lot of that just to kind of like not feel lonely, like to kind of like, because even some girls that I would hook up with, they weren't necessarily my type, but it's just like, you just get it when you can. You know what I mean? And I think that definitely does play a role and tie it into, just it does get lonely. I have to admit, it really, really does get lonely. So, move it. So it's very important to try to, establish like a kind of community. I will say, you see, one thing with Jamaicans, they're everywhere. So chances are whichever city or prefecture they send you to, you're gonna find a Jamaican. You're gonna find even at least 3, 4, 5 Jamaicans. So, if you're the type of person that needs to have a community, try to build a community with them. Try. But yeah, it does get lonely, guys. And the food. Now, I love Japanese food. I love sushi. I love sashimi. I love takoyaki. I love okonomiyaki. I could go on and on. But I know for a lot of Jamaicans, they don't like the food there. Like, that is just a big no-no for them. So make sure when you can cook. I feel like if you're going to another country, I think you should try to immerse yourself in their culture. You know what I mean? I feel like you should try the food. You should try to kind of, immerse yourself in the culture. That's what me look on it. You understand what I say? So me look on it. If you don't like it, fine. But at least you try. Don't be so ignorant. You understand? Go into it with an open mind. That's what I would tell any Jamaican or even anybody that's trying to like go into a foreign country, want to explore a foreign country. Go into it with an open mind. If you want to close off your mind to everything, then that's gonna be a problem. And I think you're gonna lose out on an amazing experience if you just want to close off for everything. You know what I mean? So, definitely go into it with an open mind. All right, for sure. Japan. I could tell you guys so many stories about that. I could probably talk for hours and hours and hours about, living in Japan. I do look back on my time there with fondness. Like I said, I only stayed there for 2 years, but I met some really good people, I will say. And yeah, I had some really fun and funny experiences. And I would recommend anybody to just go. You know what I mean? Why did I eventually leave? Well, I left because, well, 2 reasons. The money is not that great. You know what I mean? The first year, the money it's decent. But I think the second year, you're like, no. No, 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 no. I find that a lot of times the foreigners, when you arrive in Japan as like a ALT or like a teacher or whatever, you want to find another job or a second job, a third job. I know a Jamaican, she has multiple hustles, right? And she's been living there for like more than a decade. You kind of have to do that. You can't live off just teaching and being an ALT. It's not going to work. You are going to suffer, right? And I think that was one of my issues with it. I don't want to have to be up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, hustling, bustling, doing all of this in a country that will never ever be mine. You know what I mean? And I just don't ever see Japan ever being my country or being a place where I can call home, right? Jamaica is where the heart is. That's where all my family and my friends are. So naturally, I want to go back to where, my family and friends are. You know what I mean? To have that support. And I don't regret it. I really don't regret it. But I also don't regret my time in Japan as well. And I would recommend it to just about anyone. But like I said, that was my experience, guys. I've actually heard some other experiences from other Jamaicans, and it wasn't the best. I will say it was not the best at all. But you can't follow people. You can't follow people in this life. You have to just do what you want to do at the end of the day. And you have to just give it a try. Just throw your hat in the ring and see what can go on. You know what I mean? Because you never know. You never know. All right? All right. So, yeah, I think that's enough of my Japan experience. I feel like my chat wally. I never think this gonna be so long. And I could even talk for more. I could have talked for more. But anyways, let's get into the confessions. Confession time. All right. So let's look at the confession. I will say you guys have, on a really sending quite a bit of confessions this week, which I really appreciate. Big up on yourself. And if you guys want to send in your confessions, make sure you guys follow me on Instagram. All right. I always make my post on my story about sending in confessions. So you can send me a confessions via DMs if you want, if you're very open and you're brawling with it. Or I have this thing. It's something that's, I think it's NGL. It's called NGL, where you can just submit your confession anonymously. So me not gonna know. So just submit on the confessions, man. More I know the business. All right. Would love suck your dick though. I think you mean would love to suck your dick though. Hey, I have a huge crush on you. I recently texted you, but you didn't respond to my message. I think you are a great person based on what... Oh, this is so nice. Based on what I've seen from you on the media, and you're so attractive. This is really, really nice. Thank you. Sometimes people say them text me, but me not see the text. Me really, really don't see the text, guys. But me gonna be real with you though. If you have a crush on me, iron it out. Iron it out, because I will ruin you. Alright. Next. Like you, but don't know how to tell you. Please don't think you would have seen my text. Okay, alright. That's how much people like me. Jano. To be honest, me like you for a while now. That's how much people like me. Oh, the bumble clot. Who didn't know? Oh, alright. Me not understand the concept of liking somebody where you don't know. Who don't know me, no? For all who don't know, I could be a piece of shit. I could be a junker. I could be one of the most fucked up persons in life. You know what I mean? I saw people take on away, I saw people take on away. Cause when you just see me up on social media, when you don't know me and like me. Me and nobody feel like? Sure. But thank you though. I used to be so kind, positive, generous, good-natured, and super genuine with how I treated people. I'd been disappointed and crushed so much because of that fact, and because of my feminine traits as a man. Now, when I behave heartless and turn my heavy emotions off, people say I'm evil. I hate having to suppress my emotions and kill how much it hurts to protect myself from people who intend to abuse me. It hurts so much to become a dark empath when all I wanted was to give love and respect for all. I can't do that as a man, especially an effeminate one, because people are so fucked up. Okay. All right. I'm gonna be honest with you. I This is how I look at things, right? And you might disagree with me. Never you allow a bad experience with someone or anybody for that matter change the type of person you are. People are gonna be fucked up. People are gonna fuck you over. People are gonna do so many mean, evil, some of the wickedest things, right? But for me, that is no excuse. That's no excuse for you to be to be like them. That's no excuse for you to be manipulative and play with people's emotions. You know what I mean? Like, this is something I always tell myself, that no matter how cruel and evil people will treat me, I will never lose that love for others. I will never use I will never lose that genuine love for people. I just won't. I'm not gonna allow someone who was evil and mean to me cause me to change myself. No. I'm gonna protect myself for sure. You know what I mean? Like, me I go be wiser, and me I go take a mental note of the type of person you are. But me not go change myself or be that person that I hate. You know what I mean? So my advice to you, although this is not really an advice column, but my advice to you is to just be yourself. Be yourself and don't allow others to change the type of person you are. Alright? Alright, yeah, because listen, at the end of the day, fuck people. You don't know me, but I've always had fantasies when I see you pose shirtless. Pepperoni nipples with big chest, edible your fuck. Alright, so in all my years of living, nobody, and I mean nobody has ever compared my nipples to pepperoni. This is a new one. I will say this is a new one. Thank you. I will accept this as a compliment because I think this is a compliment, right? I've never eaten pussy before, but I've recently gotten this little interest in trying it. Okay. I even dream about it sometimes. I think I need Jesus. Why do you think you need Jesus for eating pussy? For wanting to eat pussy? Just do what you want. Listen to me. What another man doing a in bedroom, you know? It didn't have nobody need to know. You just do your thing and call it a day. You see me? If you want try it. You might like it, you might not. You understand me? I say, like, for me personally, I will never ever understand the mindset of caring what other people think about what you do in your bedroom. What you do in your bedroom is your business, you know? Right? It becomes a problem now when you make your bedroom business other people's business. You understand? So if you want nyam pussy. But just not making nobody else's business. Cool? I think you are really attractive. I'd suck you from head to your pretty toes. Wow. Another toe sucker. I never realized so much people like sucking toes. Big up on yourself. I would never put a toe in my mouth. I'm sorry. I would take you away for a day and do the time if required. It would be worth it. Oh, the blood clot. Yo, you see, this is why I'm gonna leave my house. Cause see, there's somebody said them want to take me away. Them want to take me away and do the time. You hear them something they know? Jano star. Jano. Alright guys, so that was the end of the confessions. I feel like they were pretty good. And also guys, I just wanna make a note. I just wanna say this before we're done. The confessions don't have to be sexual. They don't have to be sexual. It can be something, you know, it don't have to be sexual. It can be anything. It can be anything, like anything maybe personal or something where, like, you know, maybe anything. But you don't have to be sexual. I just want to kind of put that out there. Alright? All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. If you enjoyed the episode, please like this video, share it, comment, the whole works. If you're on Spotify, Apple, please make sure you rate this podcast and also leave a review. Listen, the more you engage, the more engagement I get from the podcast, it really allows it to grow. It allows my podcast to be shared with many people. You know what I mean? So please, guys, I'm begging you, just do that. All right, for me. All right, guys. So I will see you on the next episode. Thanks again for tuning in, and yeah, big up on yourself. Straight.